the main problem for the Gen Zs and the millennials is representation. And if we want this representation in the government, we cannot go about it through the old system of having the political parties. Because from what we observed yesterday and from the past week is that any MP elected under any political party is loyal to the party first. Loyal to the party first and the manifesto of the party, and the voter takes the back seat in everything else. So from now on, if we want to have a voice in the matters, if you want actual representation in parliament, we need to go about choosing our leaders in a different way. And if that means we have to rethink the whole political parties system, then that is what we need to do. Because personally, I think it would work much better if we chose our candidate ourselves, not affiliated to any party at all. We choose him and we tell them, this is what we want. That MP, when they go to parliament, they will know who they're answering to. Rather than this MP who has been chosen for you by a party, and then they're brought to you, and then this MP now is selling you the agenda of the party. So when you're voting them in, you're buying into their agenda. And at the end of the day, when it comes to it, they will be more loyal to the agenda than to you. Yes, you are the one who voted them in and everything, but it was not your goal they went in there to pursue. They had their own goal, they had the party's goal in mind. So if we want more representation in parliament, in the government, we have to rethink how the system works. We cannot use the same old political systems that have been there before. We cannot continue saying that we need to make political parties or anything like that. Let's rethink the whole process. Choose people among ourselves who we think represent our ideologies the best way. Let them be independent. An independent candidate is better than a candidate who is loyal to any party. Send that guy in there and tell them this is what we want. If that guy fails to do what you want, then it's easy to hold them accountable. Rather than this other guy. This other guy has all systems backing him. Right now, if you want to recall an MP, the party itself is protecting this guy from that recalling. So it will make it very hard for us to even go through that route. So we have to learn something from this instance and make sure that in the next election, 2027, because most of us, I myself, did not vote in the previous election. So in the next election, if you want to have a voice in the system, in the government, we need to register as voters, choose our own leaders, and not the leaders presented to us by political parties. That's all.
But isn't that what single party is supposed to solve? As in the case of Section 2A in Kenya, Section 2B is one party, so that we are not looking for politicians, we are looking for leaders. Isn't that what has worked for China with the Communist Party? One party, looking for leaders. And I know you all have been fed Western themed democracy, so dictatorship and single party rule, elimination of multi-party democracy, elimination of parties, elimination of elections. It's such a foreign evil thing that you should not even pronounce. But those things are working in Saudi Arabia, they are working in Bahrain, they are working in China. I mean, the greatest economies right now are the ones that have rejected Western themed democracies. The greatest, most prosperous, peaceful civil societies right now are the ones that have rejected Western themed democracies. Either way you slice at it, the happiest people are living in societies that have rejected Western themed democracies. But I mean, it's It's like telling young people to not drink alcohol. What is wrong with you? So you drink alcohol and then you chase it down with democracy. You never understand anything else. But the ideas you are looking for could possibly be found in single party rules, so that there is no issue of opposition. It's a solid who is the most suited leader from this region to represent the people for this amount of time. Sideshows of factions out, just leaders. Throw your hat in the race as a leader, not a turncoat of your own affiliation with politics or tribe or socio-economic class. Best leader wins. And then water down Western theme nonsense of democracy by spacing out elections to huge periods of time and making sure that the decision making is left to a very select few. That what I just said right there. You cannot wrap your mind around it. That the decision making be left to a select few. And yet, it's only the societies that have left the decision making of their countries to a select few that are prospering, that are being stable. And in the case of Africa, that is growing at the fastest rate, that is completely un-African. I'm talking about Rwanda. But you don't want to hear about dictators in the name with the name the dictator, bad. All right. Carry on with everybody having rights and power, and we have rights to do this, we have rights to do the other. Kazaneni.
I actually agree with you, George. The single party rule will help us solve a lot of problems we see. Because when it comes to the time of elections, we are all divided between all these different parties. You find that right now, as we are talking about the finance bill and everything, we are all speaking in one voice. We are all united behind one thing. But come the election time, everybody will be splintered away. You will go to this guy and the other one will go to this other guy. And now we will be divided in half. But so at the end of the day, we end up losing all that momentum we have built. But Buru. Yeah.
The Gen Z have just shown that there is no real need for the elections. So these guys are on their way to finding their own solutions, because whatever we think is a solution didn't work for us. It didn't work for George. George is not coming from a point that he has won with the solution. So how can we copy paste and say this is the solution for what Gen Z are going through right now? Just now is when they have seen their own problem. So they're going through their own process.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying, Kimbe, that they need to learn how to select people from amongst themselves.
No, you see, that's the thing.
At the end of the day, if you look at it.
Hold up, let me throw that point in there so you hear what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because we are leading them in the way we think we would do a revolution.
Mm-hmm.
So we're making the same mistake of not listening to them and telling them now what to do again, the same way we've been telling them what to do, because we think they are
done being controlled. We are standing on our own. And right now I feel like we don't need a lot of these representatives. Why do we have to pay more than how many MPs do we have? A lot of MPs. Why do we have to have a lot of them while we know very well they are not even working for us? Why? To what do we owe even the wife of the deputy president to be allocating such a huge amount of money while we have people that are dying of drought and famine in our country? We're done following what people want. We're done following what what you want. We are doing it our own way. And if you ask me what is our way, you just wait. Mtulie tuwapange.
You know, it sounds good when you're saying it, Jerry, and it's when it's in your head. But if you want practical solutions, we are talking of the next election. That's 3 years from now. Something is supposed. You're supposed to implement something.
Stop going that direction.
No, we're here to discuss what is next.
You're taking the wind out of their sail right now. Right now,
No.
And they need to see some wins.
Kibe, I am part of this movement.
No, hold up and listen to this point. Listen to the point, because it's the same thing we did on the first day. We tried to be logical. And our logic, look at where our logic has gotten us. That's the same thing you're struggling with right now. You're trying to be logical. You're trying to say, hey, listen, logically, you guys know it must take 3 years because we have to go the logical way. But the only reason why we're listening to them is because they're not logical.
Actually, we're not even counting how long it will take. As long as we're getting there, we are making sure that our children won't suffer the way we are being subjected to this suffering right now. Our children will not become Mau fighters at the age of 20 because of somebody. We will not make the same mistakes. We don't care if it won't take us 3 years to get there, but we will eventually get there. And it won't be that easy. We know it is not even a walk in the park. We know a revolution takes a lot of lives. It has to be a war. If it has to be, let it be. But we are willing to do what it takes to take our country back to civilian rule. Because right now it's like we are in dictatorship. When this person says we go this way, we all go. And we have docile people in our country that don't even understand what is happening. So whenever they are told, let's go this way, they're like, oh, okay, let's go.
So who is your current leader who embodies your ideologies?
We don't have a leader. We don't have a leader. And that analogy of having leaders is what we're trying to get rid of. We are trying to have representatives. So that when your people tells you we want this, you are able to get this for us.
And that's why I'm saying, George. And that's why I'm saying that if you want representatives, you have to pick a system of how to choose those representatives. You cannot just say we have something in plan and you don't know what it is. We need to actually know the kind of representatives we're choosing. And to choose those representatives, we cannot use the old system that has been in place. We have to come up with our own system of choosing those representatives. The point is we have to start somewhere. If you're going to have a revolution, we have to start somewhere. And that starting is we need to start by how we choose these representatives, not through political parties, but through our own ways.
Let me tell you something. Sometimes you might be starting something, but you don't know the end. You don't know the even the middle part of it. But imagine you're going to make it. And this is what, the revolution has already started. It's not like it's something that is going to start. It has already started. You saw what we did on Tuesday. You saw what we did yesterday. Imagine we are going to do it again next Tuesday, and we're going now to come much bigger, much better than that. We don't care what it takes. Kill all of us if you want us out of this country.